Welcome to my channel NG Tech. In our series, we will discuss that series on test in civil engineering. In our previous class, we have learned about the test for aggregate. In our today's class, we will learn about the test for bitumen. The bitumen are used in flexible pavement construction. To know the test, we will learn about the durability, ductility, stability, solubility, and strength of the bitumen. So, let's start. Let's start test for bitumen. There are mainly 9 tests for bitumen: penetration test, ductility test, softening point test, specific gravity test, viscosity test, flash and fire point test, solubility test, water content test, and loss on heating test. So start penetration test. Penetration test. The penetration test for the bitumen is the method of using to determine the consistency or hardness of the bitumen, which is key parameters in evaluating its stability for various appliances in road construction. The equipment needed are penetrometer, bitumen sample, constant temperature bath. Penetrometer, the instrument which contain a needle and which that can penetrate the bitumen sample. The constant temperature are 25 degrees centigrade should be maintained, and the penetration it from 5 seconds. The needle is of total weight 100 gram and gradually penetrated is readed up to 1/10 of the millimeter is used for 5 seconds. The grade of 30/40 bitumen is preferred in hot climate, and the grade of 80/100 bitumen is preferred for the cold climate at a standard test condition. The grade 30/40 means the penetrate value of 3 to 4 mm. Next, ductility test. The ductility test for the bitumen is a standard procedure used to assess the flexibility or elongation of the bitumen, which is crucial for evaluating its performance in road construction and other appliances. The ductility test measures the ability of the bitumen to stretch without breaking. This property is important because it helps to determine how well the bitumen will perform under the different temperature condition and stress. The equipment needed for these tests are ductility testing apparatus, bitumen sample. The ductility testing apparatus consist of mold, two metal clip, a pulling device, and a measuring scale, and the bitumen sample are prepared. The ductility is the distance in centimeter which the materials will be elongated without breaking. The ductility measure at a point where the bitumen break. The temperature maintained in this test is 27 degrees centigrade, and the pulling are in a rate of 50 mm per minute. The minimum ductility specified by BIS is 75 centimeter. The good quality bitumen has more ductility and vice versa. Our next test is softening point test. The softening point test of an bitumen is used to determine the temperature at which the bitumen softens to a specific consistency. This property is critical for understanding how bitumen will perform under different temperature conditions, particularly in hot weather. The test is conducted by ring and ball apparatus. The balls used in this test are of diameter 9.5 mm. The temperature should be maintained constantly of 5 to 6 degrees centigrade with an increase per minute. The temperature at which the balls drop is known as the softening point of the bitumen. In general, the softening point of the bitumen is 35 degree to 70 degree centigrade. Specific gravity test. The specific gravity test for bitumen is used to determine the density of the bitumen, which is important for various quality control and mixed design purpose of the bitumen or asphalt concrete production. The test helps to understand how the bitumen behaves in the mixed and influence the calculation of the binder content in the asphalt nature. It is done to determine the density of the bitumen. The temperature maintained should be 27 degrees centigrade, and the weight specific gravity of the bitumen by the formula weight of the bitumen of the given volume by the weight of the same volume of water. Psychrometer is used for this test. The specific gravity of the bitumen is from 0.97 to 1.02, and the specific gravity of the tar is 1.1 to 1.29. Next test is viscosity test. The viscosity test is measure the resistance of the bitumen to flow, which indicates its consistency and how it will perform under the different temperature and condition. Viscosity is a critical properties to determine the workability application properties of the bitumen in a asphalt mix. The purpose of this test is assess workability and performance prediction. This test is conducted to check the consistency and flow resistance of the bitumen. Orifice types viscometer are used to indirectly find the viscosity of the liquid binder like cardback and emulsion. It expressed in second is the time taken by 50 ml of bitumen materials to pass through a orifice cup under the standard test condition temperature. The cardback viscosity is measured with either 4.00 mm for 25 degrees centigrade and 10 mm orifice at 25 to 40 degrees centigrade. The bitumen sand not be too viscous or not too less viscous. Our next test is flash and fire point test. The flash and fire point test for the bitumen are crucial for determining the safety and handling properties of the bitumen product. This test is measure the temperature at which the bitumen emits flammable vapors and ignites, respectively. Understanding these properties is essential for safety, storage, transport, and application of the bitumen. The flash point is the temperature at which the bitumen emits sufficient vapor to form an ignitable mixture with the air. The temperature at which the bitumen may become flammable. Equipment: Penske Martin flash point testers, heating bath, ignition source are used for this test. The fire point is defined as the lowest temperature under specific test condition at which the bitumen materials get ignited and burns. The maximum flashing point for pavement construction is 175 degrees centigrade. Our next test is solubility test. The solubility test of the bitumen determines the proportion of the bitumen that is soluble in a specific solvent. This test is usually assess the quality and purity of the bitumen. The test helps to identify the presence of impurities or non-bituminous materials and to ensure the consistency and performance of the bitumen using for construction. The purpose is quality control, identification impurities, and performance prediction. The equipment needed in this test are solvent, extraction flux, scovelate extractor, evaporation equipment. The pure bitumen is completely soluble in CCl4 and C2S. The purity of the bitumen required for construction are 99%. Next test is water content test. The water content test for the bitumen is used to determine the amount of water present in the bitumen. This is important because the water in bitumen can negatively affect on the performance of bitumen and the durability of the asphalt mix. High water content can lead the issues such as poor adhesion, reduction strength, and potential for damage in the finished pavement. The equipment needed for this test are water bath, oven, analytical balance, desiccator, filter paper, or centrifuge tubes. There are mainly two methods for this test are distillation method and centrifugal method. The objective of this test are to determine the amount of water present in the bitumen for distilling resulting its off. The water content percentage can be calculated by the water percentage equal to the volume of water collected divided by the weight of the bitumen sample into 100. The water content in the bitumen should not exceed 0.2% by its weight. Our last test is loss on heating test. The loss on heating test of the bitumen is used to determine the amount of volatile component that are lost when the bitumen is heated. This test is crucial because it provides the insight into the stability and quality of the bitumen. Particularly, it performs at different temperature conditions. Sample preparation. A respective sample of bitumen is weighed and placed in a container, typically in a metal pan. Heat the sample is then heated to a specific temperature in an oven, usually around 163 degrees centigrade. As specified by the relevant standard, the heating is done for the set period, often 5 hours. The cooling and wetting. After the heating period, the sample is cooled at a room temperature and the container is wet again. Calculation of loss. The loss on heating is calculated based on the difference in weight before and after the heating. It is usually expressed as the percentage of original weight. The allowable percentage of heating loss is 1% by its weight. If you like this video, please like, share, and to watch more video on test in civil engineering, please subscribe my channel NG Tech.